For those who can't see, well, there it is on the screen. But for those who, you know, are more likely to listen to my podcast, my live stream than view it or read things on the screen, I'm just jumping on here to let folks know that King County, Washington is under a red flag warning. That means no unnecessary fires. And while my fire is pretty safe, considering all the safety precautions and limited area that it exists in other words, in my forge, and my forge is hooded, and my forge is sitting on a bare dirt floor where the likelihood of any kind of spark doing anything inside of an enclosed area, away from the dry grasses outside of the smithy. While that's all true, and as such, I typically ignore the red flag warnings when it comes to smithing, not when it comes to anything else like burning boxes or anything like that. But when it comes to smithing, there's also the fact that we have a wildfire going on the other side of the Cascades, in northeast Washington, southern British Columbia, which it has made things hazy and smoky. I will let me see if I can show you that. We'll go here, and we will switch over to this. And we'll turn that on. Come on. Oh, wrong side. There we go. So yeah, we got wildfire smoke here. That's a view of Seattle. Here I can smell the smoke in the house, and it depends on where I am in the house. Washington State, until recently, there wasn't much reason to have air conditioning in a home. And so this home, which was built in I think it was put onto this property in 1810. It didn't have air conditioning until 2 years ago, and it doesn't have air conditioning throughout the house. Instead, one would just simply open one's windows, maybe put a fan in the window to draw some air through, and that would be sufficient to keep the house cool throughout the day, because of how cool it would get in the evenings. But climate change being what it is, we are seeing more and more 90-degree days. We're seeing drought in the Pacific Northwest, a place that is known for its rain and its moderate or temperate rainforest. We're not getting as much. The snow pack on Mount Rainier is always getting lighter. So Mount Rainier snow pack, and we're seeing the sides of the mountain. Let me see, this was last year's talk about it. I will share that screen. Yep, already doing it. There we go. You can see the snowpack. You can see the snowpack used to be such that throughout the summer you would see snow on all of the face of Rainier, and we have a view of Mount Rainier from our house, from our property, and so it was very shocking last year to see so much shadow, which turned out to not be shadow as much as it was the granite that we could see now, which we normally wouldn't see. And so, AC was installed in a couple of rooms in the house. The house is not fitted for heat nor air conditioning because of the age of the house. They didn't bother. They had baseboard heat, which my wife disliked, so we're renovating for that purpose. But we now have what's it called? split unit, where we've got two heads in the house and the compressor outside, and it's doing a sufficient job, but it does mean that occasionally, where we've left a window open to because there isn't air conditioning in the room, you can smell the smoke invading the house, and so it's such that I woke up this morning with my eyeballs scratchy, and decided I should not. I had made the decision last night based on the smoke levels, but it's even more so this morning that I'm not going to get out in the smoke and put my eyes and my lungs and so forth to that challenge when I'm not supposed to be burning anything anyway. So that's why this live stream has been canceled, if you will. Obviously, I'm on here doing a little bit of a live stream, but just enough to let folks know what's happening, and I'm not getting on for blacksmithing today. Instead, I'm sitting in my office. It's one of the rooms that's not air conditioned, but has a fan in the window, and I will keep this brief and avoid the smoke as much as I can, because it's got me all stuffed up and everything. Just figured I would get on here, let you guys know if anybody did jump on, do a quick Q&A, and then get off here and attend to the other duties that I can't avoid. Like, I took care of my chickens this morning, took care of my donkey and my goat. They're all cared for. I have 6 new bantam chicks. You can see those folks up on my TikTok. As I said to some folks yesterday on Christ-Centered Ironworks, Roy's live stream last night, I am on TikTok, but I'm on TikTok to show everything except blacksmithing, because blacksmithing is something that takes a little time to really show. And I do follow some smiths on there, and I get to see the pretty things they've created, but you don't get to see any of the process. And for me, pretty things having been created is very cool. It gives me ideas, and so I will share those from time to time on my TikTok. But more often than not, my TikTok is for showing off my chickens, showing off my animals, showing off the active farm that I keep here, raising chickens and letting them free range my property, because I've got plenty of property and not much reason to use it for anything else. Having my donkey and my goat that we adopted, elder animals that are they're not useful for anything other than pets, but it's a nice thing to have, keeping the grass down and so forth like that. And then I've got fruit trees on the property, and so occasionally you'll see me showing off the various trees on the property up on my TikTok. But yeah, that's you'll see that I have a bunch of new chicks that I posted up on TikTok, and so I had to take care of them this morning, make sure one that just freshly hatched yesterday is doing well. She's hatched out of sync from the other 6 of her siblings, and so the other 6 of her siblings had hatched 2 or 3 days earlier, and so we had to care for her separately because Mama didn't have time to sit on and keep her warm. She was busy making sure the others got fed, so we took care of that, and now she's out there with them. So 7 little bantam chicks with the pretty bantam mama. She's a flighted bantam. I've still not been able to certainly identify what type she is. When you buy these bantams from Coastal or Tractor Supply, they're just listed as bantams. They don't tell you which kind, and it's probably smart of them to not do so, because they're probably not show quality bantams. They're just fun to have in your flock. And in my case, that is the absolute truth. We have about 10 laying hens left from the original, what did we have, 20. Unfortunately, several of them got by predators, got hurt by tom turkey that we had, and so we basically are down to half of the flock. So we just bought 20 more variety of layers. Some are Easter eggers. Half of them are Easter eggers, which means they'll come up with various colored eggs other than the standard white and brown. And then we got some rarer breeds, just a mix of rarer breeds that we have no idea what they'll be. I think some of them are Easter eggers based on the looks of them, but of a different. They're not the typical Americanas. So we'll see what they turn out to be. But yeah, those are what I've been taking care of. I don't have a choice but to take care of them, to come, as they say, hell or high water. And we pray for no high water because we don't need any drowned chickens. So that'll be the rest of my days, to just make sure that, and this is typically what ends up happening. What eats up my Saturdays after this live stream is taking care of my honeydews, and part of my honeydews is taking care of the farm, and sometimes that takes up some of Sunday too. But thankfully, I am typically able to attend the live stream of the recording of the Impractical, let me make sure I get that right, Impractical Blacksmithing Podcast. I think that's what it's called. Yep, there it is. And I'm going to share that on the screen just so that people can see it, because you really should be attending this. It's a fun time. Let's see. You can do it. Yes, there we go. Practical blacksmithing. And it even tells you right there. It's a Sunday morning gathering, hosted over, and you can see it on YouTube. You can attend it on YouTube and be one of the chatters there. On Yamaz's channel, Island Metal Forge. I'm going to make sure I get that right. Since I am sitting at the computer, I can do these things for a change. You're about to see all the subscriptions I maintain. And let's go here. Island Metal, let's see, is it Island Metal Forge or Island Metal Blacksmith? I think it's Island Metal Forge, but I'm going to make sure that nothing new there at the moment. So we scroll. I'm not ashamed at all of my list of podcasts. I mean, of subscriptions. Island Metal Forge. There you go. So over here on Yama's channel, every Saturday morning, they get together. You can see. Let's see. Go to the videos section because the populars don't help very much. But here you go. I missed his evening live stream. I'll get on there and watch that later. But his morning live stream, I get real lucky. I can get that before I have to do any honeydews. And so I get on there and I get to hang out with this group of fine smiths and always learn something interesting. So I highly recommend, either up on Amazon Music, as I've shown here because it came up in the search so easily, or go over to Spotify where it's available there, and catch Impractical Blacksmithing, the podcast, the Impractical Blacksmiths podcast. That's fascinating. So in one way it's listed as Impractical Blacksmithing, but the podcast itself is known as the Impractical Blacksmiths Podcast. So I don't know I don't know what to tell you there. That will be something that can be asked of Yamez, Alex, and Adam. And then I want to also make sure folks on this channel know about a project that Adam has been doing. Alex is from Transcendental. Let's go and show that one too. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Transcendental. Come on. Scroll some more. Well, now I've lost my way. Oh, maybe because he's just posted something recently. Let's check. Up at the top. Or I'm getting it out of order. There it is. Transcendental Artist Studio, I think it is. Yep, Artist Studios. So he did post something recently. I'll have to go watch. Then the other podcast is Speargrass Forge. So let me go down to Speargrass Forge, and that is where Adam drops some wisdom from time to time. And so, and Alex has got, Adam's got something cool going on here, so I just wanted to show that. Practical blacksmithing annotated. So this is the original that you're going to see on Amazon. There we go. So Volume 2 was just dropped recently. Volume 1 was dropped a couple of weeks ago. And what Adam's doing is taking this very respected tome on blacksmithing and going back in and checking the OCR and fixing the OCR mistakes, and putting his annotations in, and when he's done with that, he's going to go ahead and, this is Volume 2. When he's done with that, he's going to be doing an audiobook version of this as well. So let's go to Adam and see, did he drop the third one yet? And we're going to find out tomorrow that the third one is now available. It is not shown as available. So let's go in here. So as you can see, this one's for some reason it came up under the UK site, which means you folks in the UK now know how much it costs you, and this is what it costs us in the US. And you'll see that there is, I buy the Kindle version, and then there's paperback, and I might end up picking those up as well. And then there's a hardcover version of it, so you can get it whichever way you like to get it. And so I highly recommend grabbing those. And what else? I think that's all the stuff that over the course of time, when I've done my live streams and wished I could tell you more. Actually, there is one more I wanted to share. Let me pull that up real quick. So I don't know if people have noticed, but the hammer I'm using is a Brian Brazil style rounding hammer. I don't know if that's what they would call it, but people that see them, that's automatically what people say. And I just wanted to share where I bought that hammer, and let me do this real quick. Go over here. right off the top of my head. I don't want to go to the wrong place and say the wrong smith's name before I do this, but I want to get it right, and I have a few minutes here that I can afford to just share it with you guys, so might as well get it right. Computer's connected to my phone, so it's being slow about things. All right, let's try this again. Because as you guys have seen before, my live streams don't work very well over Starlink, so I'm not risking it. I will have to investigate that with Starlink one day, but it's not important because I have a viable workaround. So that's what I'm going with. To speed this process up by switching gears. There we go. Got the right answer this time. And it's Fire Creek Forge is the answer. So if you haven't seen Fire Creek Forge's channel, I'll just share that with you real quick here. I enjoy learning from his efforts, and his video quality is excellent. I'm not much of a bladesmith, so oftentimes I skip a bunch of his videos, but for bladesmiths it's a great channel. But that hammer is just great. It has the right length of handle for me. It's got I mean, I didn't have to do any work on this hammer to be able to put it to work immediately, and it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't the most expensive hammer I've seen either. So, I think that's all the shilling I will do today. I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the screen so you can see. And actually, we can find the one where he's talking about the hammer too, because it was through one of his videos I just happened to be watching that I decided, hey, I'll buy one of his hammers when they come available. So the hammer I have looks very, very similar to this one, the one right there. So so if you've been on my live stream, you've been seeing me use that hammer. I have a variety of hammers. Yesterday we got into some hammer talk because Roy did an excellent, I keep talking about Roy, so let's pull him up here. I think I've already watched all the videos that he had available, so let's go look, and here's where I get to show Roy, yes I do indeed watch your videos. About the only videos I don't always catch are your live streams. And not that Roy's actually going to watch any of my videos, because Roy's way too important a blacksmith to you know, bother to watch some guy with a 50 plus viewers. But there you have it. I watch his stuff incessantly. He may be the most unlikable blacksmith on the internet, but he also happens to be one of the most talented blacksmiths. Opinionated, yes. But sometimes opinions, you know, have merit. So the gent is definitely gets a lot of my attention, and so we were doing some hammer talk yesterday on his live stream, and I mentioned the Hoffy hammer, and specifically I was talking about the length of the handle, because the rounding hammer that I got from Fireball, Fire Creek, is so easy to mix up all these names because there's so many different names. But the hammer I got from Fire Creek has a shorter handle than most, and Roy obviously likes holding his long handles out at the end, even though he's now figured out that that's probably a bit further out than an arm should be doing. I like holding a short handle out at the end, which is sort of like holding a long handle out in the middle. So I don't have the slow-mo video to prove that. I don't even have a slow-mo video capture device that I can use. So I might have to tap a friend and see if I can get somebody to come and film. But I also have a Hoffy style hammer that I bought from the same folks I bought my forge. Let's see, do I have that something I can show you? Forge, because if anybody has seen my forge and was like curious to know where I got the forge, then we're talking Whitlock's Forge. I'll jump on over there. But I've got the Hoffy style hammer from them, and it's got a shorter handle, not as short as the ones I've seen Hoffy actually do, but it's got the same kind of shape of head, the ergonomics head supposedly. And I say supposedly because Roy had a good point. We don't know without some sort of scientific evidence that it's a better, more ergonomic hammer. However, what you really can do is what Roy did, and that is, set your opinions aside, and start doing some critical analysis of how does your body behave when using the tools that you have, and there's the right tool for the right project, right? You got a cross peen, straight peen, diagonal peen, you've got ball peens, you've got flat face, round face. I have another hammer, was one of the first that I bought from a blacksmith supply shop, that was listed as a rounding hammer, but it doesn't look like the other rounding hammers I've seen. But it does have a rounded side and a flat side. It's just, it doesn't have the cheeks that everybody expects to see when they're looking at a rounding hammer. And so, I've got that. I don't have a better name for it off the top of my head, but it's a Fisker brand mini sledge, and people will get really bent out of shape about this one. It's a straight peen hammer. It's heavy, for regular use, until you get, the muscle built up. But the biggest reason they'll get bent out of shape is it's got an ergonomic handle that is made of fiberglass, and people get all annoyed at fiberglass as a handle. It also has rubber on the handle, and people get annoyed by that. Here's my take on it. If it works for you, it works for you, and it was working for me just fine. I had to dress the face quite a bit, though, to be able to put it to work. And it was too heavy for me when I first started using it. But for me, the handle never gave me any trouble. It took quite a lot of effort before I ended up getting any kind of issue, which was I ended up getting a blister. Now, my hands are not calloused. I am not in some people's books, a working man. Instead, I sit at a keyboard all day. I don't work with my hands except around my property, as I'm doing the care of my animals, and building things, and working in the smithy. So I don't have calluses on my hands, where I mean, I have a couple, but nothing notable. And I've got soft hands. Some would say lady hands, and that's fine. I'm not. I don't care. um, the point being, so getting a blister didn't surprise me, but would I recommend this as a daily hammer? No, um, because there are just better hammers to be used. But as a good starter hammer for cheap, yes, it was no big deal. This Whitlock's Homestead you see on the screen, they're the folks that I bought my forge from. They're also the folks that I bought my Hoffy style hammer from. Neither one of them were super costly. Both of them are very economical solutions to getting started in blacksmithing. You can see this middle video there is their small economical forge, and if you've seen my live streams, most of the time that's the biggest I need my fire to get, and I just am an overachiever, and plan for big things, and I have more money than sense sometimes, and so I have the bigger version of their forge. Just like it's sometime in the new year, I will probably have Roy's air-powered treadle hammer, because again, more money than sense, and so I like having tools that will help me get the job done, and jobs into the future done. And so that's why I'm fortunate enough to make a good living as a software engineer. So, but for folks just getting started, without having to have power in their smithy, you could get up and running with that middle forge, and you would be very satisfied, because you run it with bagged charcoal, not the briquettes but the lump charcoal. You could run it with scrap wood, and as you've seen recently in my live streams, you can run it with coal, and it's all just as good. So take a look at that if you're wanting to have a good way to get started in something that you plan on putting some effort into. If you're just wanting to get started in something without being sure that it's something you want to do for a while, I would just go with the simple just a box of dirt forge. I'm going to go back to Adam's channel. Let's see. Yeah, Speargrass. And the reason I'm going back to Speargrass is he had a box of dirt. There it is, just a box of dirt. So he can take you right through how to get set up with just a box of dirt forge. I have amongst the many plans I have that I never seem to get time during the week to prep for, I do have a plan to build just a box of dirt forge, and that way I would have 2 forges, and that means I could have guest smiths come in and have their own dedicated forge to work with. Until that time, when I get to do that on one of my live streams, you can just come right here and see how to make one yourself. They're not difficult to make, and they're extremely inexpensive. You can get all the materials out of your backyard, oftentimes. Strain out the rocks. The rocks won't hurt anything, but they can. You don't want rocks in your just a box of dirt forge, because rocks can have entrapped water in them, and when heated up they can explode. I think that Adam does explain that. I don't remember, but I just wanted to put that out there. So you would sift your dirt from your backyard get out any rocks and pebbles. Just have dirt, clay or sand, doesn't matter. Um, and then the wood you can get from pallet wood, so just a bit of keeping an eye out, and then a little sweat equity to tear apart the pallet. And then you're going to need a hammer, some nails, or screws, and a screwdriver or impact driver. The only thing you'll have to buy for yourself is a pipe and a hair dryer. And he talks about that in that video. I highly recommend taking a look at that video. What else can I talk about during this meandering of thought? I'm not getting any viewers today because I had told people that I wasn't going to be doing my live stream today, and so it's not a big surprise to anybody that that there wasn't going to be a live stream. But for the folks that I wasn't able to tell, I figured I would jump on here long enough to let you know what's going on, and also just be available for a Q&A if anybody did get on here with any questions. And in the meantime, it gave me an opportunity to share with you guys some of the great value I've gotten from YouTube and the many smiths out there. I mean, if you were to look at my long list of subscriptions, you would see it has so many smiths that and there you go. There's why it caught my eye. Fireball tool got stuck in my head. I also have other kind of makers in here, whether it's fabrication makers, or it's just foam. The primary thing they do is PLA and foam, or cardboard. I don't care if it's making. It's cool to me. So I've got lots of makers in here, but there is one smith that I give big props to, because he puts out a lot of here is Big Dog. Glad to see that Tim is back. He kind of lost YouTube for a little bit there, but doing great now. I need to watch his latest video. And then the one though that I think there are two smiths that I have to give big kudos to for giving me so much to help me know that it's achievable by about anybody who wants to put their mind to it. And I say that not because they make it look easy, but because they keep telling you through their videos over time that you can do this. And that first one, well, the first one, I'll just talk about this one. This is actually the one to go to learn the craft. From long ago when he started to today, as he continues to show you step by step how to accomplish a project. They're just incredible videos. John is such a giving, at least a giving blacksmith. He gives to the community a lot through his videos. I'm not sure how else, because I don't have a personal relationship with John, but I support him through Patreon because of how much he's given just through this channel. And then the other, everybody knows as just a consummate showman, and I ended up buying one of his anvils because I needed a new anvil, And anvils are ridiculously expensive anyway, so why not get a new anvil from Alex Steele, who also, at least in his early videos, was so um, influential to me as to this is something that I can get in there and do. And I just say the same as to you. I would say that today Alec has wandered far afield from that. He still does smithing, but he does other things, and he's very much more the showman and the consummate salesman. He's taken what was just something fun for him to do, and he's turned it into a business that I would assume is thriving, because he keeps going at it, and it's a business that's thriving through his own marketplaces and his videos and sponsorships, and I think that he's somebody you could study if that's what you wanted to do. But I would also recommend just going back to his older stuff and seeing his journey in smithing, going from novice to you could say an expert. I don't know if he would consider himself a master. I don't know if he is a master, but he's pretty damn good and is able to make a living off of this. So he got good enough to be able to hire people. He got good enough to know exactly what they should be doing and guide them along, and that's what a master does. So I don't know if he's ever going to pursue the certification or not, but who cares? The Alex Steele is an inspiration to me, so figured I'd share that. But there are so many inspirations. Let's see. There is, well, you can see as I go down the list, just so many smiths on here. You've got Blackbeard is one that always is producing something of interest to me. And let's see. There's one I'm thinking of. I just can't remember her name. I think it's down in the J's. There it is. JLP Services. I wish she would put more videos out, because if you see my camera angles today and the way that I lay out my live stream, multi-view, I ended up getting inspiration from, I'd like to believe her name is Jennifer, or I should say their name, because I don't know if it's a her. I don't know if they call themselves what pronouns they use, so silly of me to bother saying one that is explicit. But the point is, their videos are extremely informative. I see I've got a few I need to go and watch. I typically don't watch the extremely short videos, so yeah, I do need to take a look at her side rake forge tool handle. As you can see, I've caught a few of those. Some of these you're seeing that I watched them multiple times too. If you see it played partially in, it's because I've watched it multiple times, thinking that I might go and reproduce the work that she's done, but or they've done. But yeah, I would love to see them put more works up. You can see it's been many months, but it could be just simply that it's the summer months, and now we're coming into a season where they can get out there and not roast. So fingers crossed, because their videos are very informative. I've loved Joey Vandersteeg's work. It's where for me, it's where, now as you can see, all of these things where he's forging an anvil, I did not watch those. So yeah. And I could have sworn there are a lot more videos than these, so now I wonder what's going on. I've watched a lot more videos than these. Where are all of Joey's videos? That is very strange that they're not showing up here. 7 years ago, 1 year ago, 7 years ago. He had a lot more videos on here before, so I don't know what's going on. I wish there was a way I could find out, but YouTube doesn't make it easy to chit chat with your creators. Oh my goodness, just so many. You can see just so many. And if there's a smith that I don't know about, that you think I should be paying attention to, especially if it's not for making blades, please drop a note in the comment section, because you know we all stand on the shoulders of giants, or more. How can I put this? More. I'm going to get serious now, so let's go ahead and turn off that. More truthfully, we all stand on the culmination of many creative people's works. They're not giants. I hate the fact that we think that we should put people on pedestals, and that you aren't achieved. You haven't achieved anything if you've not made that placement. We all achieve stuff, and if we're good about sharing what we've achieved in a respectful way with others so that they can also learn, that allows them to stand on your shoulders. And typically you've learned something by standing on somebody else's shoulders, probably lots and lots of somebody else's shoulders. So we're not so much standing on the shoulders of giants as we're standing on an extremely tall pyramid of shoulders. And so I just shared with you some of the many shoulders I've stood on, and I hope that you see some value in that. And if you know of another shoulder I should be standing on, please share that in the comments section. I would very much appreciate that. And until next week, when we should hopefully be done with the summer heat, and we can, fingers crossed, they get that wildfire under control and some rain comes along and takes down the smoke, and that allows me to get out into the smithy. I bid you the challenge I bid every week. Love and light.